Welcome back to another Sunday prep day. If you're new here, every Sunday I prep for the week. Cut all my vegetables and make things that take a little bit longer. So today I'm going to make some salsas and I'm going to make some pickles. So for a roasted salsa, I'm going to make two different kinds of salsas. For the roasted salsa, I'm just going to wrap this head of garlic and I just cut it across that way so when it comes time to squeeze everything out, it comes out easily. And it's in foil so it doesn't burn. So that can go in my Ninja Foodi. First I'll put some oil in. So that can go in. And here I have some shallots that I peeled. So those can go in. And then let's throw in a pepper. And some jalapenos. I'll just do a bunch, like 6. That can go in. And then I have a whole bunch of tomatoes. They were on sale at the market because they were close to their use-by date. So I got them for a really cheap price, but that also means that they need to be used up. So I was originally planning on making one salsa, but with this many tomatoes, I'll do 2, because the roasted salsa will keep for a while. So I'm just going to throw a couple of handfuls in my Ninja Foodi. I'll do a couple more. That is probably enough. These will go in the other salsa. So, yeah, that's everything. So, tomato, pepper, chilies, garlic, onion. So that can go in, and I'll grill those. They'll take about 20 to 30 minutes. So I'll do 15 minutes first, and I'll check on them, and I'll turn everything around because I want the skin to blacken, so I can easily peel that. So they need to be turned anyway. So yeah, let's just get started with some onions. So I'm gonna do some pickled onions. So this one I'm just gonna cut into like half rings to pickle, and I'll pickle a bunch of things because I'm gonna do some rice bowls and noodle bowls and grain bowls and things like that this week. So yeah, let's just go over my menu. So for lunch today, as always, sandwiches. I have some roast pork because I don't usually eat carbs during the week for lunch, but on Sunday I have my cheat day. And then for dinner tonight, I have some celeriac left over. So I thought I'd make a mash with some carrots and some parsnips because I had parsnips left over as well. So as I put these in, I'm just going to separate the rings a little bit. Doesn't matter if they're not perfectly separated, but it does make it a little bit easier for the pickling liquid to go everywhere. So yeah, that was Sunday. For Monday, Meatless Monday, for lunch I'm going to do like an omelet frittata kind of thing that I did last time as well. Just use up a lot of vegetables. And then for dinner, I'm going to do a couscous bowl with some falafel. I'm using store-bought falafel this time. They were on sale at the store last week, so I just picked some up. Sometimes I make them myself, but when they're on sale, it's just, yeah, easier. So let me chop up this red onion. And that will go in the omelet, for example, and a few other things. And then, yeah, the bowl with falafel and couscous, I'll put some, what am I going to put in there? Some cucumber, some lots and lots of parsley, some peppers. So then on Tuesday for lunch, I still have a bunch of green beans from last week, so I need to use those up. So I'm just simply going to do some green beans with some chicken. And then for dinner, I'm going to do some tacos. and I'll use one of my salsas with some chicken, and I'm just going to keep it simple. I bought some of those taco tubs because I saw them at the store. They were half off, so I'm like, why not try them? There we go. And then I'm going to move on to some garlic. I have a couple of cloves here. For Wednesday, I'm going to do a low-carb stir-fry with lots of veggies and some chicken. And then for dinner, I'm going to do a rice bowl with some chicken, like a Mexican-style rice bowl. So I'll use some of that salsa, probably the roasted salsa. Some rice, I'll probably do some lime cilantro rice. And maybe some corn or some other veggies to go with it. Then for Thursday, for lunch, I'm going to do some broccoli with some chicken. And then for dinner, I'm going to do a noodle bowl with some chicken skewers and some green beans, some spicy green beans. So maybe I'll do sambal again. I really like that. Or maybe I'll use some chili oil this time. And I'll just serve that with some peanut sauce. But that's just a store-bought sauce. I could make that myself, but you know, peanut sauce is so easily to come by here. It's just I just bought some yesterday. So that was Thursday. Friday, I'm gonna do some cauliflower with some salmon. Maybe I'll just boil my cauliflower, or I could turn it into cauliflower mash. I don't know yet. And then for dinner, I'm going to do a grain bowl with some salmon that I'm going to marinate in some soy sauce with some ginger and some garlic. And I'll serve that with some of the pickles that I'm going to be making. If I have any green beans or sugar snaps left over, I might use those as well. I'll just use that bowl as like a leftover kind of thing. But it will be like an Asian style. But the exact ingredients just kind of depend on what I have left. So I'm almost done with this garlic. And that is going to go in the fresh salsa, the chunky salsa that I'm going to make. It's going to go in the omelette or frittata, whatever you want to call it. It's going to go in the stir fry, in the marinade. Lots of things. So I have some green onions. I'm mostly just going to use them as garnish. I'll probably throw some in with the chunky salsa as well. And I'll just cut them nice and fine. Next up, we'll do some peppers. So these will go in the omelette, in the stir fry, things like that. So I'm just going to clean them out. I'm just using a red one and an orange one, just for a different color. And this is going to go in the couscous salad as well, just for some color. I'm not the biggest fan of raw tomatoes, so where most people will use tomatoes to put in things, I use peppers. So I'm just going to cut these into cubes by cutting them lengthwise first. And then cutting it across. And I'll do the exact same thing for this orange one. And next up, some jalapenos. Again, these are going to go in the stir fry, in the roasted salsa. in the omelet. So I'm just gonna clean out the seeds because there's a lot of white in there that I don't like having in things, so I cut that out. It's not because they're spicy, they're only jalapenos, they're not really that spicy, but yeah, let me just clean these out real quick. And same thing as the peppers, I'm just gonna cut them into cubes by cutting them lengthwise first and then cutting them across. So I'll just do that for all of them. And next up, some tomatoes for the chunky salsa. I'm just going to cut these in half. They're going to go in the food processor. I'm using this small one. But since I don't want to blend it too much, because I don't want it pulp, I want some chunks, I'm just cutting it down so it goes a little bit easier. Okay, so we have the tomatoes in here. I'll also throw in some of my jalapenos. Yeah, I didn't have to dice all of them, but since I was dicing anyway, just was the easiest thing to do. And before I forget, I'll add a little bit of garlic as well. And then I have some of these white onions. And again, I'm just gonna quarter them just so I don't have to blend it for too long and have it go to pulp. So this is a bigger one. I'll just cut into 6 pieces maybe. Like, it doesn't have to be super fine. There we go, and I'll just blend that up in a bit because I need to add some cilantro to that as well and things like that. So let's do some carrot and some parsnip. So I just need to peel those real quick. And I'm just checking on my Ninja Foodi. 15 minutes are almost up, so I'm gonna check in a minute and switch things around a bit, make sure everything gets nice and colored. Oh yeah, I just peeled the parsnip. I'm not gonna peel the carrot because it doesn't need it. And I'm just gonna cut it into some nice bite-sized pieces, all around the same size so they cook nice and even. So the bottom, I leave it whole. The middle section I'll cut into half, and the top section I'll do quarters. There we go. That's my Ninja Foodi. So I'll just get a spoon. I put it on grill, by the way, on the highest setting it will go. So yeah, it's starting to blister. So I think it needs about another 10 minutes. So I'll go 10 minutes and check on that again. Oh yeah, then we get back to our parsnip. That can go to the side. And we'll do the carrot. So again, roughly the same size pieces. I'll just, I haven't decided yet how I'm going to make them. I can cook them, I can roast them, but something like that. Maybe something like that. So these are roughly the same size as the parsnip. So that's for dinner tonight with my celery root or celeriac, whatever you call it, where you're from. And then this part, I'm just gonna, not my slicer, my julienne slicer. I'm just gonna julienne this for pickling. So that's part of that carrot, and I'll just do this carrot as well. Okay, so that's that carrot done. So I'm just gonna take my jar that I'm gonna be putting my pickles in. I'm gonna fill this up, and whatever I don't use for my pickles will go in my omelet and my stir fry, etc. So that is carrots and onions ready for pickling. Since I'm on pickling things, let's do some cucumber as well. So I'll just slice that with my slicer. I could do it by hand, but this is far more uniform. And I'll just do 2. Right, and I'll just fill up this container. one of the most asked questions I get on my videos is the containers I use. These are from a company called Meepal. That's how we pronounce it in Dutch. You probably pronounce it like Meepal or something like that. The Modula series, and they come in different sizes. The ones you see me use most are this size and this size. This one is exactly 3 times the height of this one, and then I also have them that are exactly twice the size of the height of this one. So those are the ones you see me use most often. These are just some old peanut butter containers that I recycle. And for some other things, mainly in the pantry, I have these, because these and those tall ones, they all stack, and this is a different footprint, but they come in different sizes as well that all stack. Like this is a 2 high, and then I have a 1 high that stacks, uses the same lid, and then I have a 3 high as well, and a 4 unit high one. So that's what I use in my pantry. So I've been asked that question quite a few times, so I thought I would address that. And I just like having them. These ones are technically meant for things like, what do you call it, like cold cuts and things like that, but that's what I had when I started prepping. So that's what I started using, and I just bought a bunch more. I have tons of them. So that is cucumber in. What are we gonna do next? Let's do some cilantro. This is gonna go in both salsas, and I'll save some probably for my lime cilantro rice. Though, actually, you know what? I'm not gonna do lime cilantro rice. I have a whole bunch of seasoning mixes that I'll do for my rice bowl, because I have 2 salsas, so I'd much rather use my cilantro in that. And these only have the tiniest stems, so I'm just gonna cut the stems as well. And I don't need to cut it that fine because it's gonna go in the blender, but again, I don't wanna over mix it, so I'm just gonna cut it nice and fine, just to help with that. Okay. That can go in, that much to go in my roasted salsa, and then in my fresh salsa, I'll just throw that in. And I'm really filling up this small one, but I needed my big blender for the roasted salsa, so I'm just using this. Next up, I have some parsley for my couscous bowl. So again, I'm just gonna cut that nice and fine. I'll do probably about this much worth. That sounds about right for my couscous salad. So I just gave it a rough chop, and now I'll just cut it nice and fine. It's just a lot easier to do when it's already like roughly cut. And I'll just keep running my knife through until it's the finest that I want for my couscous salad. There we go. Then I have some broccoli. I'm going to cut off enough florets for 1 meal. And I'll just cut them into bite-sized pieces. So I'll just do a couple more until I have enough for 1 meal. I think that's enough, so I'll just save that for another time. And then I'm also going to do some cauliflower again for 1 meal. And I'm going to leave as much of the stem on as possible. And I'll just take some florets off. There we go, I'll do another one. But I'm leaving the stem because it will last a lot longer in the fridge if you leave it on the stem. So just cut these into bite-sized pieces. And that is about enough for 1 meal. And my Ninja Foodi just finished, so let me check on that as well. Yeah, the skin has started to blister, so I'm just going to let that cool enough so I can handle that. Let me quickly clean up my cutting board. Here I have a celery root or celeriac, and I'm just going to take the skin off. And I'll just cut this into chunks, and that will be for some celeriac mash tonight with my carrots and my parsnips. So I'm just going to cut them in roughly the same size chunks. So that done, and then I just have some ginger, and I'm just going to peel that real quick. And then I'll cut this into smaller pieces, and that's going to go in the marinade for Friday. So I'll just cut it lengthwise, then the other side lengthwise, and just cut it nice and fine. Alright, that's all the cutting done. That was 30 minutes so far. So let me clean up a bit, and then I'll start with the chunky salsa and the pickling. Okay, so for the pickle, I'm just gonna put some water on. I'm gonna add a little bit of sugar. I don't use a lot, but and that much is for 3 different pickles. So then some vinegar. You want about half vinegar, half water. And I'll add a little bit of salt. And then put the lid on and let that come to a simmer. And by that time the sugar and the salt will have dissolved and it's ready to go. So I'm going to move on to my chunky salsa. So again, some cherry tomatoes. You're probably better off using like Roma tomatoes or something and cut the inside out. So it's not that watery, but with cherry tomatoes I'm not going to do that. So tomatoes, jalapenos, onion, garlic, cilantro. I'm going to give that a quick blitz. Just to get that down a little bit. I'll add a little bit of cumin and some salt. And now I'll just pulse that until it's the consistency that I want. Give that a little taste for seasoning. It needs some acidity. So I'll just put some lime in. And let me just take the blades out. And it needs a little bit more salt. And the reason I took the blades out because I don't want to blend it up more, so I'm just going to mix it by hand to mix the salt and the lime through. Give it a little taste now. And that's nice. So I could store it in this container, but things stack a lot easier if I use these in my fridge. So I'm just going to transfer that. So that is one salsa done. All right, the liquid has come to a simmer. So now I'm just going to, well, let's move this a little bit closer. I'll try not to spill too much. That's why I'm using a ladle. And I'm just going to pour this right over my onions, my carrot, and my cucumber. Make sure everything is submerged. Chef fingers do help. And then I'll just put the lid on and let that cool down. And these are just refrigerator style pickles, so they're not going to last forever in the fridge, but they should last for a couple of weeks at least. So just put these to the side and let them cool down. And then I'll just start working on my roasted salsa. So I'll start by juicing some lime. And I'll put in my cilantro. And then here I have my onions and my peppers. As you can see, the skin is blackened on the peppers, so I can just easily peel that right off. So I'll do that for the pepper and the jalapenos. See how easy that comes out when this skin is blackened. Take the tip off, and the seed, like the little stringy bits in the middle, and that can go in. I'll do the same with the jalapenos, and the onion and the tomato can just go in whole. And I just squeezed in my garlic, and because I cut that in half before roasting it, I could easily squeeze that. So it came right out. It's nice and mellow now. So that is in. Then I'll add some cumin and some salt. And let's get that blended. And let's see how that's looking. Give it a little taste. Yeah, that has just enough salt. Don't need to add any of that. Nice bit of heat. So I'm just gonna put that in this container. So that is my second salsa done. That can just finish cooling down and go in the fridge. So yeah, that's everything I need for the week. 2 salsas, some pickles, and a bunch of veg ready to go. So now I can have lunch or dinner on the table in minutes. If you like this kind of content, I do this every single Sunday. And about once a month, I do a video where I show you everything I eat in a day. So if you're wondering what I do with all the ingredients, you can check that out. I posted one last week, I believe. You can also check out my Instagram where I post every single meal. So leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching. Until next time, bye for now.